All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Monday, July the 16th, 2018. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is All About Object Trader Special Features. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk, therefore there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, you're welcome, John. Absolutely welcome. John says, thanks for having me back. Well, what I'm going to do tonight, now this may be a little bit, I guess I'd say more in-depth, with Object Trader. It's not just a normal box it in and things like that. But this webinar is a little bit more about trading the special features that are in Object Trader. Okay, so let me show everybody first off what you want to do. Make sure that everybody should know that we've got the member area for members, and you've got this ebook that's been updated. It was updated January of this year, and there hasn't been any changes since then. Okay, so if you simply click on this, this will pull up this ebook. Okay, and then once that ebook is pulled up, I highly recommend everybody to just start really at the top, basically. Go down, initial setup of Object Trader on your chart. It walks you through everything about it. Okay, and let's go through. We're going to talk about this tonight using LE, SE, and RE, the buttons. Those aren't really that special, but you really need to know how to use them too. And then auto trades, for instance, full auto when checked. Now, keep in mind that even though it's full auto when checked, this is not an auto trading system. This doesn't really, diagnose charts the way we do with our, our eyes and, the way everyone's taught to see the trades. We're going to be working on some things like that. But in the meantime, when auto is checked, it just means that it'll completely, go auto on whatever function you have it set for. Okay. We're going to talk tonight about using the mid-band trend. Okay. And that just simply means that if you've got any short band, for instance, it's only going to fire, look for short trades, and even, basically you won't even be able to turn on long enabled. Okay. If you're using required trend, if you were in a short, and vice versa on a long. Okay. And let's scroll down here real quick. Let me get a little bit further. Let's see here. We're going to talk a little bit about Time Trader tonight too. Several people have been asking me about that. We'll talk about that tonight also. And let's see here. Let me go on down. We're going to talk about scaling out. And since we've got people that really aren't totally familiar, because we get people coming in all the time, things like that, I'll talk about the targets and stops also. And basically just everything to do with Object Trader that's just not the normal stuff is what we're going to talk about. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Trail stops. Okay, Kenneth. We'll talk about trail stops too then. All right. But anyway, everybody should know that, this little ebook, these are little videos. You just simply click on them and it'll pull up a little 5, 6, 7 minute video. Okay. And it even goes into, for instance, telling, if you're flat, to give an example, on a trade, it's going to be in the little, basically your box that tells you how much you're making on your trade. It'll actually be white, then it goes to green if you're profitable and red if you're unprofitable. We'll talk about that tonight too. Okay, and absolutely, just keep an eye on this little ebook right here, because this will walk you through a lot of that. Can you also please cover object type time region? Yeah, Vin, that's what I mentioned that. You probably just popped in, but I'm going to talk about time region also. Okay, let's go ahead and go to a chart. And bear with me one second. I'm going to pull up the little webinar chart that we like to use because we need to know what direction we're going to be looking. like always. And let's see if we can tell. Okay. First off, we got to diagnose our chart. We're looking for longs or shorts on retracements. Anybody? Pretty much looks like, yeah, you're right. We're looking more like this, aren't we? Let me go ahead and go from here. That's good enough right there. Okay, pretty much a little downtrend, right? So we're looking for those, short type trades on retracements, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. We know that. Now we're going to look at the actual chart. And lo and behold, the chart does look like that, doesn't it? Now that doesn't mean that it won't do like a phantom, to give an example, because this is actually getting a low, high, higher, low, higher, high, but we haven't changed trends yet. Okay, to change trends on this chart, we're going to have to at least take out the swing right across here. Okay, let's go ahead and put Object Trader on the chart, and we'll talk about some of those features. Let's talk about Time Trader first, since I mentioned that a little bit earlier, because a lot of people like to trade that 7:59 time. And if you're going to use Time Trader, keep in mind that even though it is a region, it's a time region. So you have to pull up the object type as your time region. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we'll set this. And you just go to your first zone, like, D1 zone, D2 zone, D3. Those are just simply zones, okay? All that means is that we're going to set up a little region box on this chart. So I just simply go to July the 16th, okay? And that one's set right now. All I have to do is actually just click this to OK. But it's not going to be on my chart until 7:59 in the morning. That was that trade I called this morning, by the way. And we'll go ahead and do that. And what you got to do after that, though, is keep in mind that the very first object type that comes up is region. Okay? Even though it's a little region type trade, it's a time region. So what you want to do is you want to go down to time trade. Okay? And then you just simply turn it on whichever way you want it to go. Now, you don't have to turn on time trade when it's 2:30 in the morning. You got 5 hours to trade, though. But you could go ahead and have it set in your parameters. That way you're ready to trade it when it does actually hit 7:59. Okay? But just don't turn this on until you're ready to trade it. Okay? So with time trade, keep in mind that what it's going to do, it's going to actually draw a region at exactly a time that you tell it to. Okay? Just to give you an example, let's see if we can get, let's see. This is kind of trying to head up. If it pulls back a little bit and gives us a higher low, we'll try to do like a little time region. Yeah, we'll talk about phantom trades too, because Bill, I saw your email last night, and I wanted to be sure and talk about that tonight. Okay. Now, phantom trade is not part of Object Trader. Okay, phantom trade is just simply the way the chart sets up, with the particular trade. And phantom trades are really, really good trades. Here's a phantom trade right here. Here's another one right here. See the color of the midband? We'll go over those in just a few minutes. Okay, Vin, do you see how, and everybody see how to use your time trader? For instance, if I wanted to set this, let's set like a 4 o'clock one just for the fun of it, and I'll fast forward it. We'll do like 2 contracts, do a 4 o'clock one, just to show you how it actually operates. And we're going to go to Object Trader. We'll remove it, and then we'll put it back on because we want to change that time. 4 o'clock in the morning, a lot of our people like to trade about that time, so I'm going to try a time box at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to see July the 16th, 4 o'clock in the morning, 04 a.m. for me. Okay, just like that. Now that will actually set up a box at 4 a.m. And let's see if we can just get something on that. We'll go ahead and do time trade. We're going to be looking for shorts. And we're at about 241, so let's fast forward a little bit. Now, you'll notice when this actually goes to, I'm going to let this go fairly quick, 330, 340. There, that's good enough right there. That's 354 right there, okay? Now let's see if we can get a little 4 o'clock. That'll be in 10 minutes from now, but I'm going to speed it up a little bit so we get it faster. Now notice that's 352, 354, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Let's turn it right there. Okay, 4 o'clock now. It hasn't drawn yet. You notice that? Because at 4 o'clock, it's got to have a closed bar. Okay, so this is going to go for a closed bar, and as soon as that bar closes, we'll get a little green region. Okay, now usually what I do is I turn this off until I get my region, because you don't want it just firing on you without you seeing where you want to take the trade. Okay, let's see if a bar will close and see if that time trader kicks on. About 2 more ticks. And it doesn't matter if it closes up or down. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that, that phantom trade with some of these extra little features too. Let's see, 4 o'clock, hadn't closed yet. Let's speed it up just a little bit again. There, it's closed, okay? Now we just simply turn this on, okay? We can move this anywhere we want it, by the way. And pretty much, I think I'd pretty much be in that trade right now, but let's just let it go ahead and close, that's fine. It may not be a good trade, but it is a time trade, see it? It's amazing how on the hour that there's a lot of times trades will set up. I'm going to set that at touch +1. Because if that goes outside that again, I'd probably want that. And by the way, the beauty of this too is you can move the box live on your chart, and then the moment it touches outside that, it will go ahead and fire that trade. It'll trade 2 contracts for these 2 targets right here. Okay, now that's how Time Trader works. And by the way, when you get those high energy times also, okay, those are real good too, because let me show you what, here's some of these times right here that come in. Let me get this over. All right, this is actually for tomorrow, okay? We've got these ready to go out and everything. And what this shows is actually like tomorrow morning, for instance, we're going to be looking at 6:08, which is 8:08 my time, for a little high energy trade. You can set a time box for that if you want to. And then you've got 7:30 in the morning, which is 9:30 my time, okay? Now this is for Tuesday right here. I've already got it from our calculations and everything, and got it on here, okay? So then you can just, there we go, we got our trade, by the way. Everybody see that? And always get a target out of the way if you want to. Now let me show you how to use some of these auto features, because this looks like this is a phantom trade. So let's do an auto, and what I'll do is I'll do a bar close, and I'll turn this on auto. And by turning it on auto, every single time a bar closes, it will add a contract. Okay. Now that feature basically just goes full auto to the full amount of how many contracts you have set on Object Trader. Notice I have 5. Okay, that's my max quantity. Now if I set that for 10, it would do 10 contracts. So be careful. You know, your max quantity needs to be what, you know, you feel like risking. 5 may be too much. You know, 20 ticks on oil is $1,000. Okay, but watch how it will do if a bar closes. This auto feature right here. If it closes, that is. Let me speed it up again a little bit. And you'll notice that this will actually, see there's 3, there's 4. Okay. How quickly that does that. Now notice though, when it gets to 5, if this closes, that is, there we go, we got 5. Okay, now notice that when you get the 5, okay, you're not going to get any more now. Notice how that closed down and everything even now. But watch if it hits a target. See there? We got 5 again because it actually blew through that one. Let's see if it does it again. Let's just take a target. And you'll notice that if it does, take a target, you'll go to 4, but if that bar closes, you'll go back to 5, okay? Because the deal is on this that it's going to stay with a total of 5 contracts. You know, even if I take like one off, like say I buy, you know, 1, make it 4, if it closes again, see, it'll be 5 again. Now, I'm not saying to trade it that way. I'm just saying that this is how this works on the auto feature on that. Okay. Now, of course, you'd pretty much take quite a bit of your coin. You can move your targets out of the way and everything. Okay. Now, what if I wanted to scale out of this thing? Because this looks like it's dropping like a stone in the middle of the night. That was a good phantom trade. All right. But what if I want to scale out of something on this? Well, I can actually go ahead and scale out. Let's say that I just want to scale out of 1, to give an example. If it goes up, see, I can actually scale out. Now that's scaling, going down right now, but you'll notice if it actually does get a bar up, it'll go ahead and scale. See how it flattened it out? I'm flat because that kind of bounced quickly. Notice how that can protect your profit, by the way. Okay, that's a pretty cool little feature. Now, I don't recommend it as much on a 4-range chart as I do on a little bit larger chart, because you don't want to just add contracts on every 4-range bar. Okay, that's not a real smart way to trade, because 4-range bars are a dime a dozen. You get those, you know, all the time. But what if you used a little bit larger chart? Let's go ahead and look at a larger chart on here for the fun of it. Let me get we'll get a Renko chart. Bear with me a second. We'll get a Renko. We'll go Object Trader Renko, and I'll do a 3 and like a 6 rollover. And you'll notice once I get this, let it go ahead and load. All right, notice how these bars literally went straight down. See, every single bar was heading down until that one right there. Now, this can be a pretty good little feature when you look for that type of thing. But be careful, you know, basically, well, let's say, for instance, that this is actually, looks like it's doing a little retrace to me right now, don't you think? So you've got a predictor right up here. They're saying it'll hit there at that line. Okay, if it goes any higher, I would expect it to go right up here, but I don't think it will, because that's way above phantom. Everybody see that? Okay, so the only thing I don't like about the larger bars, though, is if it touches that line and I actually wait for a bar to go short, then a larger bar is going to be a little bit larger, and therefore, obviously, you know, you're going to be closer to that bottom to begin with. And I don't like it on larger bars that way. Okay. Matter of fact, if this was to just come up here and just wick this line, and I wanted to get it, I'd just grab it, you know, rather than, you know, waiting for that bigger bar to close. Okay. Okay. Now that's how the auto feature works. And by the way, the auto feature works on bar close. It works on region. It works on all of these. Okay. Anything that you turn on, when you turn this on auto, this goes to auto trading is on, and whatever type of trade you're trying to do, it's going to actually trade that type of trade. Okay, and continually keep trading that type of trade. Now, what if let's say, for instance, that you wanted to use the mid-band feature on this also. Okay, now notice that the mid-band is actually red on here right now. So therefore, I don't want, you know, to go against the trend right now, right? Because the trend is still down. So I could actually turn on require trend like so, and I can't even turn on the long right here. Let's see, I shouldn't be able to. Auto. That should not let me turn on that that auto unless, let me think for just a second. Require trend. Let's go to a different one. Bar close might do that. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Auto actually will just let any of these stay on. That's right. See, I don't even use this feature all the time, but I do use it on the bar close. I love that feature. Okay, so what it is, if you're on auto, there we go. We just fired a trade. Let's see, do we really want it? Well, let's just take it and see if we can get 10 ticks. But if you're on auto, you know, any of these could be turned on. But if you're not on auto and you're using the mid-band type feature, okay, you'll notice that you can't even turn on long. It won't even turn it on. Okay, that way you don't go against the trend. Okay, now notice that actually went long because we actually turned on that long, so we're going to kill it. All right, anybody having questions on that, the required trend? Because what this really means is that even if you put this on full auto, that if you have required trend on basically this means require mid-band, see that MB, bar close, PM lightning trades, predictor trades, and stealth trades. Okay, now that doesn't though take into consideration wedge, let's see, time trade or region. Okay, notice it does stealth. It doesn't sniper either. Okay, doesn't ray, but it does all the others. Okay, we may even get this color coded possibly to where, you know, when you click this in Ninja 8, it'll probably tell you, you know, like if you click it, it'll show the ones in a color. That's what I want to do anyway. Okay, now let's talk for a minute about phantom trades, because I went over a little bit of this up here. Does anybody understand? Let's say, for instance, that you were trading lightning, to give an example. All right, if you turn this LSR on, that means that it'll actually, whatever one of these you want to use, it'll keep turning them on every time they reach that criteria again. You ought to try it in like market replay just to get used to how it works. That's a little trade right there, by the way. I think anyway. It's a predictor trade. I like it. Okay. Could I add? Well, let's just do a little add on bar close. Notice that anything we've got in Object Trader you can do on the fly. Okay, like if I change my mind, I don't want that trade, all I got to do is turn it off before it fires. If I change my mind again and I want to turn it on, all I got to do is turn it on. Okay. I can also, well, basically anything you want to do can be done on the fly. Okay. Now, there's another feature on here that we have actually added, and it's called scaling in, but you don't see it anywhere. It just does it automatically. Like, just to give you an example, region. Let me just show you how that would work. I'm not going to do this with larger bars, but we'll go ahead and do it for now with larger bars. Let's go ahead and do a region. And I'm going to do a real quick short touch. Okay. And you'll notice that if this touches this, it'll fire the trade. Touch plus 0, should anyway. Touch plus 0. Let's see if it's going to. I may have actually missed that. I think I did. I didn't have it on the bar at the time. But what you can actually do with this, let's say that you were in some right here and you wanted to add, all you'd have to do is move your region. Okay. Now I've got this going pretty slow right now, so we may not get some of these. Okay. But if you move your region and turn this back on, you can even leave it in auto as far as that goes if you want to. Okay. Pretty good little features. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And it just takes a little bit of getting used to, you know, because notice how when I use that bar close feature, look how quickly that P&L turned on this type of movement. I mean, this market had been really heading down, you know, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, lower highs, right? So you got some nice little trades. I'd protect one right there and maybe let one run. Okay. Now, does anybody in here at all not know how to do a phantom trade? Okay, because I'm going to show Bill how to do this, and anybody else that wants to know. And keep in mind, no matter what anybody tells you, and I don't care who tells you, there is a certain criteria for phantom trades, and you want to make sure that you do the phantom trade exactly that way. Okay, it's extremely important because if you're just thinking that these shadows are phantom areas, they're not unless you're the direction of the trade. Okay, so let's go over this real quick. All right, I'm going to go ahead and kill. We don't need any regions or anything right now. Bar closes anything. All right, let's look at this real quick. Okay, what you're looking for on a phantom type trade is you have to go from one extreme to the other. Okay, and if you go from one extreme to the other and you do get your phantom trade, to give an example, this is actually a phantom trade right here even, except it didn't roll over on a larger chart. Now I don't know if it did on a 4 range. We can change that back to 4 and see. Let's go ahead and do that. Bear with it just a second. Okay, let's go back over. Okay, so right here, basically, see, let me just go over exactly how a phantom works from one to the other. Okay, you always want to make sure that you go to a color that's opposite of what it was before. Okay, now your colors for long are green, blue, and yellow. Okay, your colors for short are magenta, red, and rose. And anytime they're magenta, red, or rose, you're looking for this trade up in here. Now this one didn't work, okay, but it may not have fired either. It depends on how tight you had your box, and if you did and it went back in it, you get out of the trade. So then what are you looking for? Well, you're looking for the next phantom, and that one's right here. Okay, now let me show you how you can tell that that's there, because this is really a good trade, by the way. This phantom trade is absolutely a good trade that you can take to the bank on a daily basis. Okay, now what I like to personally do with the phantoms, okay, always look for the trend change, the phantom trade. See, there's a phantom trade there. That one didn't do it. These did. That was a little one. That's a little one. Then after that, this one, once you get a color change at all, like let's say that okay, right here, you're looking to short this right here, possibly being a phantom trade because you'd be boxing it in, and it never went. Okay, so you didn't get a phantom trade on that with a 4-range chart. Okay, now is that a legitimate phantom? Absolutely it is, because it was still a rose color when it actually printed up here. Okay, now so what does it happen when you do after this though? You go from red or rose or magenta to green, blue, or yellow, and you're looking for the first phantom. That's not a phantom. It is a box-in trade. The phantom is actually between line 2 and 1. And if you learn that particular trade right there, it makes a really big difference in your bottom line. Okay, that's a true phantom trade right there. Now, what you're looking for next, there's another phantom trade, by the way. Always make sure that you scalp it to mid-band, from a long, that is. Scalp it to mid-band and then hold it, for the runner, and you could see you got taken out in the runner right under here or even here. Okay, because that's changing, basically breaking lightning, right? Okay, so that's a phantom trade. Now let's look and see if we can get one the opposite. Now the opposite trade that you're looking for is when you go from a long to a short. And let's see if we can get a short. There's a short. Okay, now notice that now that you've got your short, you're looking for a phantom trade again. Your phantom trade now though is up in this area right here because you're looking for a short. The box placement, Bill, on your question, I'll show you. Let's say if you were trading this right in here, to give an example. Okay, now what you can actually do, these predictors are really good at it too. Notice when it kisses that predictor right in there, just to give an example, really close. See, it's on that predictor right there. All right, you can actually box that. Now what I like to personally do is kind of go by like a little trend line even. This one wasn't as clean, and you might not have taken it till something like that to begin with. or you could box this right here on a 1, 2, 3, but you got to be careful with 1, 2, 3s because they'll get you too on those, especially with small bars. But see, that still turned out to be a great phantom trade, even if you did it there. But where you want to box it, if it does a phantom, is just pretty much just as you're seeing it, just kind of box it in, look to resistance. You got resistance right across, like, see that little area right there, like that. And then when they break it, take it. See, looking to the left to trade the right. Okay, so that's the way you would box that. All right, now let's look at it again. And I'm going to ask everybody else in the room, where's your next phantom trade? Okay, so we're on the 16th, which is today at, let's see, that's showing 5:17 in the morning here, but keep in mind, we're actually moving the chart ahead of time. So we're actually back. Okay, so let's see what we got. Phantom trade, not yet. No, there's a phantom trade right there setting up. Is it going to go though? Is it going to break down? Phantom trade. See it? You boxed it in. Did it pay off? Yep. That's a phantom trade. Now, this is not my favorite phantom trade because this was your high, this was your low, that was the same high or really close to it within 2 ticks. That did not ratchet up. But this still qualifies, in my opinion, if you box it in. Okay? Because a lot of times what they'll do is when they're trying to really decide which direction they want to go, the bulls and bears are fighting, is, they're going to a lot of times do a thrust, a retrace, maybe get a lower high, and still give you this great phantom trade again. Okay, but let's look at it again. Let's see if we can find another phantom trade. Now keep in mind there's also other trades here. I'm not going to talk about them right now. This is phantom. Now let's look. Still long type trades. Now these are mid-band trades. Everybody knows those. All right, now this is a phantom type trade right here. Okay, see it went below line 2. It did ratchet up, but if you box it in, let's see if we get it. Nope, turned red. See that? You turned red, so you didn't get a phantom trade there. If you boxed it in, you never got the trade. Now you've got what? You went from blue to magenta, so what are you looking for? You're looking for this sweet spot up here, 6 to 7. There's your 6 to 7, not quite, didn't quite get there. There it is, but if you box it in, you didn't get the trade, did you? So see, a phantom trade, if you box it in, it's pretty amazing, especially if they're heading up and everything like they were doing here, that phantom trade actually turned into a green background and headed up instead. Now, does that mean that we wouldn't have boxed this in long to begin with? Absolutely we would, because we call those type trades in the room all the time. Okay, but what I'm talking about now is actually, taking these phantom trades as they set up. Now you go with rose color, now you're green. So where's your phantom? It's down here. Okay, so let's see if it works at all. No phantom yet. No phantom yet. That's a phantom right there, but it broke. See there? Never got it. Never boxed, never went up. So now you're looking for a short phantom again. That didn't quite do a phantom. Might do one. Nope, no phantom. No phantom. Maybe. Nope, no phantom. Beautiful mid-bands, though, just the way we teach them. Okay, there's a phantom right there. What do you think? Anybody? You could box it in, couldn't you? And that one actually headed up. Kind of sloppy, too, but if you boxed it in, you basically could have gotten you a little trade anyway on that one. Let's see where your next one is. Another day, by the way. Okay, you're still red, so it did ratchet down, so you'd be looking for a phantom. Let's see if we can find one. There's your phantom again right there. Everybody see that? So how many phantoms can you expect in a day on an instrument? Well, Vin, you saw quite a few right here. Now, that's not a phantom yet. It didn't get line 6. No line 6, no line 6, no line 6. There's line 6. What do you think? Is that a phantom? Well, you've got support right here, right? Let's try one more bar. Let's go one bar at a time and let's see. Y'all tell me when you want to take it. I'd box it right there. Let's box it and see. Now we're not doing it with region because we still got more room on the chart, but let's just box it. And see, you could box it here or you could just box it at support. See support right there? And if it breaks that, you could go ahead and take it. Let's see if it does. Closed up, so it didn't get it. Closed down, so you're in it. Phantom. See how great those work? Phantom type trades can be really, really good. Now, one thing keep in mind that, and this is not what I call a phantom, but it is a rule that we use also. You can go either direction with the rose color or the yellow color. Okay, because the yellow means that it's really sideways and so does the rose color. So for instance, if you wanted to do a phantom up here or even a phantom down here, you can do that. But again, I do it as it started stair-stepping back up. Okay, you want to see if there's another phantom? What do y'all think? Is that all in the book? Well, not really, John, because a phantom trade is something that you know, we just teach and trade. I haven't really done a video on it, but this is a video on it, so obviously it would work quite well. Let's go ahead and see if we can find another one. Now keep in mind, there's still lots of good trades here. I'm not going to show those. We're looking at phantoms, and we're at 5:15 in the morning. So you want to try see if we can take some trades? What do y'all think? Anybody? Okay, let's try to take a trade or so. That looks like a decent trade to me. Actually, right there, if I took this, I would not let it take this out. I would probably go ahead and do a bar close, do a couple of contracts. And if it comes up and kisses that line, I would actually even probably click it almost immediately. Let's see if it gets a trade. There's our bar close. Okay, let's see. Maybe name the video lots of phantoms. That way when we're looking in the members area, we'll know that you demonstrate phantoms in this one. I can do that. I'll put on this particular video that we're talking about it, the special features on Object Trader and also phantoms. Because I'm here to tell you this particular trade, this mid-band trade and this phantom type trade are good trades. Okay. Now, is this one going to work? We're going to find out. And we got two on. We got resistance right up here. If it comes back up there, we could actually even go ahead and add one if you want. See, so far you're getting a little bit of a low, a high, higher low, but not a higher high yet. But if I wanted to, I could actually box this, bias to the downside. I think they're going to check up here, actually. Mid-band? Maybe not. Not yet, anyway. Something like that. See, we didn't get anything. That's fine. But if we do, we'll add one. I think we added one a second ago before I got that changed, but that's okay too. Okay, now let's talk about another type trade too that you're going to want to really watch for. And that's after a ratchet down like this is a mid-band trade. Let's kill this trade and let's see if we can get one. We're going to try to get a mid-band type trade. No mid-band trade yet. Just a little sweet spot up here for mid-band. Nothing yet. No big deal. Let's see if it'll retrace. I'm looking for a mid-band trade, and I'm just going to actually take it if I see it. They never seem to work for, on which one, Mindy? The mid-band or, because what I would recommend on the mid-band trade is scalping, because anytime you're getting a mid-band trade, you're actually, you could be starting to go sideways, or they could resume their move, to the same direction that they're going. But, for instance, if you want to just do something like this and don't care about what the rest of the trade goes, okay? Let's see if we can get something. Resistance is right there. It's also right here. So we could actually put this on auto and do this even like that. So in other words, we get a trade if it touches here and rolls, or if it goes up here, we'd even get one. See what I mean? I'm doing one contract. Let's see what that does. Now, the reason that says 280 chart P&L is because we started it over. We still got a good P&L on the chart. See if we can get something. Mindy, one other way that you might do those, there's a one contract. See, since I've got that on auto, that this will go ahead and even fire more. See how it fired again? Now, I'd put my stop just above the predictor so that it doesn't take out the swing. Okay. There. Ooh, yeah, that was a decent little trade. It flattened us out. It hit our target. Okay, what type of trade are we setting up? Anybody? What are we looking for? Let's turn this off real quick. We're looking for a phantom, aren't we? A phantom trade. So let's see if we can get one. Broke down solid right here, so I'm going to draw a line. That won't go that high because that'd be out of a phantom area. So let's go to a swing that's actually numbered. And let's see if we can get that trade. And what we'll do is we'll box it in and see if we can take the trade. And I'll move the box if it pops up a little bit more, which is fine with me because I like this kind of trade. Now, see, this is only one contract. So, if I catch a missile, for instance, then this won't even fire. See, if that goes up, it won't even fire. But if it comes back down through it, it will fire. Notice how that didn't fire. That's good. That's a good feature on Object Trader. See, touch +2 inside. Just one second. Okay, notice that we got the trade. Okay, see how it came up and kissed our resistance area at Phantom. Okay, now that's basically an aggressive trade. Okay, a less aggressive trade is to actually wait. See how this did a little bar up and a bar up, and now a bar down and then a bar up. You can actually box it like this. This would be lightning. Or how about using the feature called lightning? Notice that power meter is green. Well, we could actually do this even. We could say we want to do a PM trade instead and just let it fire. Yeah, absolutely, a PM trade. Let's see if it gets that one. Sorry about the kids crying. I don't know. I told them all to be quiet, but you know how that goes. Wasn't telling the kids, I was telling my wife and my son. But anyway. It'll only be this week. Okay, so let's see if we can get a little PM trade. So far, this is decent for a PM trade. Now notice when this power meter, if it goes red, we'll fire this trade. Let's go ahead and do 2. If this turns red, there you go. All right. Now, what if you wanted a different kind of trade now that you've got this? Could I actually use another type of trade, like maybe stealth even? And if stealth happens to turn red, to add? Yes. Now, see, that's the beauty of this little system. You can actually use it any way you want to at any time you want to, because it's everything done on the fly. That's the way it was designed on purpose like that. Let's go ahead and give some targets. Look to the left to trade the right. Bull's got a target down there at what, 23? Yep. By the way, did anybody happen to trade oil today and notice that that went exactly where we drew our line on the chart this morning in the room? It went exactly where we thought it would. Okay. Now, this trade to me is still one, like I say, is one of my favorite trades, because just think about this. If you would have gone long above mid-band like we teach, you would have still gotten a great trade, but then be ready to either flip it or have a second chart going, because this is a downtrend. I mean, that's a lower high than that one right there, right? So, you know, you're not looking for longs right now, and you even had a mid-band that said so. Okay. Now notice with my auto trader on, it's only going to go as high as 5 because that's as many as I've got. Okay, and I can turn this off now. Okay. Did you see that one, Walter? Wasn't it 67 if I remember right? Anybody remember that one? How did we get that that number? Anybody remember that in the room this morning? Because we talked about a trade, and I'm trying to think of exactly what it did hit. Anybody remember? Move the large box. Yeah, we actually did. We moved the large box and it nailed it, didn't it? Look at that trade right there, by the way. Yeah, it's a pretty awesome way to trade, I'll tell you. Because just to give you an example, I'm going to kill this, and then let's just simply go for another phantom trade. We're not going to even trade the normal trades we teach. I'm just going to watch for phantom trades. See, that was a good mid-band trade. There's lots of trades here. Don't get me wrong on that. Now that was a phantom trade, wasn't it? Wasn't it right there? What does anybody think? Was that a phantom trade right there? It was, wasn't it? Well, let's take it, but let's do it conservative even. Let's just do a conservative trade and see if we can get something. We'll go with resistances right here. Okay, you can see that with the a priori swing. And resistance is right here. It's not going to go that high unless we change trends, so I'm going to take that one off. And we will just simply, you want to use a wedge? Okay. Somebody said let's use a wedge. Now wedge, I highly recommend using touch, because the thing about close is that a bar can close on one side of it and close on the other side and never touch the line. But touch, for some reason, you know, absolutely does. Let me show you how this works. That's a wedge. And we'll do touch on the outside of it +1. And let's see if we get something. Yep, got taken out. That's okay. I didn't have my stop in. I had like 100 times. Doggone it. Let's see if we can get it. Broke my wedge again, so I'm in it. Yep. That'll work. And then we'll go ahead and do a little add-on if it happens to break our wedge again. I'll do it at a 45-degree angle, because a lot of times a 45 is really good, by the way. You'll find that works pretty well. And you can't say for sure it's a 45, but that was pretty close to a 45. Everybody see that? Okay. Now notice how that was a phantom trade again, wasn't it? So my favorite way actually to do the phantom type trades is with the little box. Okay. Because if you looked at a conservative way on this, let me just show you how this is conservatively set up. Okay. If you drew your lightning thrust, retrace, thrust, okay, That's your identified swing, right? And then it goes up. You could have taken it when it rolled over, obviously, because that was resistance. But if you wait for the lightning itself, see it thrusts up, retrace, tries to thrust, your little box is right there. And you get in a much better spot. Okay? What else y'all want to see tonight? Because this is just showing some of the good special features on Object Trader. You know, some people just like strictly to use like a region. But, you know, you got auto features on here. You've got require the mid-band. You've got scale out. You can scale in on any type of trade. Anything you want to do. Trail stop usage. Okay, let's see if we can get a trail stop. This still looks like a downtrend to me. And matter of fact, we traded this today. So let's just see if we can get another trade. Y'all want to? All right, let's look for it. And then we'll trail it. I'm going to do 3 contracts. Go for like 60, 30, and we'll do 15 on this one. The reason that I'm doing that is because I want to show you how to trail this. If you want to trail it using the Object Trader features, let's see here. Let's wait for a predictor to show up. Matter of fact, let's just do a predictor trade. Predictor. Short inside touch +2. Short. There's predictor right there. That's also a swing. I'm pretty happy with that. That's resistance, so we'll take it. Touched it. Now it's got to go 2. That's 1. Should fire. Oh, wait, no, it need to be out the bottom of it. Doggone it. I messed up on my own trade. See if it'll go just a little bit. If this bar even tries to close, I'm going to take it anyway. And then I'll show you how to do that. Gosh, that hit exactly where I wanted it to. I forgot to do the bottom of the region. See what that bar does. Yeah, I'm going to take it. That bar's trying to close. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and get trail stops now. Now, the best way to do your trail stop, by the way, if you want to go ahead and set it up, first off, you want to get some profit behind you. I highly recommend that, okay? And then, of course, you can actually see that you've got a swing right here and you've got mid-band right here, okay? Now, I'd lose some money if I took mid-band because notice that we got in late. I called it exactly, but unfortunately, I forgot to turn my predictor on the right spot. I'm human. And I know all of us do that. Believe me, I've done it and think, well, gosh, why did I do that? All right, so let's see if we can set a trail stop. You can actually also, if you want to, you know, let's say that you're in 3 contracts and you're thinking, wow, you know, if this actually goes against me to go quickly, well, you can take one off if a bar even closes up, you know, just by turning that on bar close, okay? But instead, you want to just do the trail stop. This is a lightning trail stop right here, and the mid-band is right here at the same spot. So if you wanted to use that, just go to Trend, Line 4, Trail Enabled, and then engage the trail. And it'll pop right down to the spot. Okay? I usually like to personally put it on Exit on Close because I don't like to get wicked out of trades. Okay? Now, this trail will actually follow this if we continue heading down, that is. Right now, we're double bottoming. Let's see what it does. Now, watch what the trail will actually do. Notice we're still in the money. You can always tell you're in the money if this is green on this particular trade. If it goes red, you got to start watching yourself. It's going to go flat here in a second. Nope, maybe not. Now watch this mid-band if we get a thrust down. Mid-band will actually drop. Hasn't yet. Still not. It's getting ready to. See how that Follows it perfectly. That'll follow that mid-band because that's where I set that. Okay. Now, that trail stop, then you can quit worrying about this trade at all. You know, if you want, see how that trail stop just keeps going with the trade? Now it's going sideways. Will it take us out? Well, let's see. Mid-band, that's what we like in that room all the time. Let's see what it does. See how the trail stop just moves with it. Mid-band. And then, of course, like Charles says a lot of times in the room, just move your target out of the way. You know, because you can move your targets out of the way, you know, anytime you want, right? And that's a really good way to trade. But keep in mind that, you know, with 3 contracts all the way back to mid-band is $720. Okay. Yeah, the space bar also, if you click it, that will be where the mid-band is. Let me go ahead and go trend and then click that. See, it's right there on the mid-band. You can't really see it because it's red, but see the dots? It's following the mid-band. That's where your trail stop is if you ever need to see it. Now, what you can also do, you can try any one of the trail stops for anybody that's asking that. Like, let's say that you want to do lightning. See where lightning is right here? Okay, that's lightning. Let's go to lightning 1. Now notice that it's right up here, and if you engage it, that's where it's going to be. Okay, now it's right here. See how the lightning stop will also do it? See how it trails? That's a pretty neat little trailing feature, by the way. You know, if you use this, you can also use stealth, by the way. If it takes out stealth, you can even take the trade off the table. What kind of trade are we looking for? Anybody? If it takes us out, guess what kind of trade I'm looking for? A P Phantom. We're out. All right, let's get rid of our trail stop. Let's see if we can get a Phantom trade. My gosh, that's a Phantom trade, isn't it? I could turn this on auto, by the way, and just add to my heart's content if I want to. See there? 3. Add another one if it closes down. Bring my stop nice and tight. See how you can do that? These features that we've added to Object Trader, and by the way, when we go to Ninja 8, I think the sky's going to be the limit on Object Trader because we're going to change the entire graphics of it. We're going to add some things like, well, how about that trade that I actually called out where I box it in and we find the exact target? Wouldn't that be great to have with Object Trader? Would you like to have that to where you could actually see right where this trade was going? That's what I'd like to have added to Object Trader too. Because we want it to be able to look at the chart, go back and everything, and see, you know, where's this thing heading? Man, this thing's, you know, pretty awesome, right? And to draw those boxes, for instance, and take some profit and things like that, and then ride the trade accordingly with, you know, the way we teach. See where trade is heading? Absolutely, that'd be a good feature, wouldn't it? I don't even remember how far this thing went down after this. This is pretty stinking awesome, wasn't it? I want to show you one that I actually took, and then we'll probably wrap. But I want to show you one that I took after the room closed. Okay, and I was looking for a Phantom trade, or pardon me, a mid-band trade, and the thing just tanked. But I got it. I mean, just the way we teach it. Let me show it to you because it was, I think, about, if I remember right, it was about 10:30. See if we can get a. No, I don't want to have any trades. Just a second. Go ahead and kill that. I'll show you what this thing did right after we close the room. Could absolutely have grabbed that trade right there. See that swing that it hit? Anyway, I'll show you what I saw. Okay, now notice this was at a mid-band right here, and it was kind of pinging around. Where would you actually short this? Anybody? If it broke? Well, looking to the left to trade the right, pretty much right under there, right? Like that. And watch what actually happened with the trade. It just kept pinging around mid-band, and then all of a sudden it just broke. See there? That trade was monster. Nice little trade. You've always got to be ready to take, and keep in mind that this chart was still down. Even though this went green right here, this was not an uptrend as of yet. Does that mean you couldn't box this in and take this trade? Absolutely not. Could you box this in right here and take that trade? Absolutely you could. But keep in mind that the overall trend at that time was still down. It's called a phantom build. By the way, I'll close in just a minute, but do you understand that phantom completely now? It's called a phantom because it changes direction at the extreme. It's actually technically called a phantom because we used to actually consider this little area right here kind of a ghosty area. See where it's just shadowed? Okay. And anytime you're short, you're looking for this phantom. And anytime you're long, you're looking for this phantom. Okay. Now notice this one was long, but it never fired a phantom. Matter of fact, it broke down below support. So you could absolutely have been shorting it up here, been ready to take a phantom, but it never gave a phantom. Okay. Let's go on and see if there was any others just real quick. And y'all tell me if you see. Sorry, I just knocked something over. Glad it wasn't my coffee. There's mid-band trade. There's absolutely a mid-band trade. Look at those mid-band trades. Just beautiful trades. Now, what are you actually looking for in this particular case right here? Could you actually, if they take out that swing, could you go long on this trade? See there? Took out that swing. Could I take a chance on a long? I did. Yeah, it took me out too. Should I have boxed it instead? Absolutely. See, that's one reason you don't want to just go against trends. Okay? Now, when they change actual trends, then's when you're looking for the other type of trade. Let's see if we can get something. Man, I got that thing moving too fast to trade anyway. And then we'll wrap in just a second. Okay, now, is this a phantom right here? No. Why was it not a phantom? Bar up, bar up, bar up, bar up, change the mid-band. That's no longer a phantom there. Could you box it? Yes, but you're really looking for the long trade after that. You want to see if we can get it too? Well, it was right there. Everybody see that? Came right down to a predictor, and off she went. This is really some cool ways to trade these markets. It really is. Okay? Now, so when you're going to trade like a mid-band trade, to give an example, okay, you're going to be ready with like regions. See, we missed this trade right here, so we're probably going to have to let it thrust up and try to get a mid-band trade again. Want to see if we can? I'll try not to run it so fast that we can't get it. Mid-band's right here. Okay, see that right there? Came right into mid-band and bounced. That's the type of trade you're looking for right there. Notice how that came to mid-band. Notice how I grabbed it. I try to trade these things at like 300 times or 150, 200 times a lot so I can train my mind to really see these in real time so you can get some really, really good trades. But keep in mind that when you're in a trade, you've still got to make sure that you don't just let it go all the way back to your cost. You've got to put those trail stops in. You know, could you put lightning on this trade right here? Short, even if you leave it on 3, it'll only take the 1 out, by the way, unless you reverse it. Now, if you reverse it, keep in mind if you do this instead, that it'll reverse 3 contracts. You might not want to do that, okay? So the best way to do is just, you know, let it take out the trade if it goes against the power meter. See your power meter 1? Anytime I start seeing these consolidate like this, I'm pretty concerned that they're going to pull back. Anybody that's been trading any amount of time, you see this all the time, right? So if this goes red, it takes you out. It would go red right under, right there. Matter of fact, it just did in your flat. Okay, that's really some cool features to use on Object Trader. And if anybody has any questions on these, be sure and consult the little ebook, but also play around with these, you know, especially in Market Replay or something like that. Did you take a trade for 10 ticks, Paul? Good. When you do those mid-bands, would you wait for the PM to go red? Well, Mindy, on your question, you would wait for the, you're talking about the PM to go red? Well, as a rule, when you get these retracements to mid-band, you definitely do get that. Okay, let's play this forward and see if it'll, that broke down. Is that a phantom? Nope, didn't set up. Now it's not a phantom at all, right? So where's your phantom on this trade? It'd be way up here. But what about mid-band? Mid-band's right up here. Is that mid-band rollover? Nice tight stop just in case. Is that mid-band rollover? Now notice that I got that really basically on a 1, 2, 3 rollover. That's how I got it. Okay, so that'll show actually tonight a little bit more of how we trade these special little features and everything like that. And again, keep in mind that always make sure if you put this thing in auto mode, you know what you're doing, okay? Because it will trade as many contracts as you have set up in here. Now we did default it to everybody at 3, but you probably changed that. Some people changed it to 1 or 2. Some people changed it to 10. You know, it just depends on how many contracts you trade. But that means that's the maximum that this will trade on a chart. Okay? So if you want that just set differently than that, then obviously go down here, change that to false, go up here, change that to like 3, right click, and set it as your default. That's how easy it is. Does stealth trigger on touch or close? Walter, stealth actually triggers on the close of a bar. You know, when a stealth shows up, it actually triggers, like this stealth, to give an example right here, would have triggered on this bar right there. And it might have actually even done it on this one, actually. I think it would have this one because it was red, and it does fire it before the red appears, you know, because we built that into the algorithm. But if it fired here, that would have been an awesome trade, right? Yeah, stealth can be a pretty good little friend too. What I like to use stealth on is when you've had a good, you know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type trades, or at least 1, 2, 3, you know, thrusts, because then a lot of times you get those rollovers. This I don't know what it did after this, but that was a decent little short. Okay, anybody have any final questions? We ran about 10 minutes over. I apologize for that. Okay, and I'll get this webinar posted. I hope it was a good training session. And again, keep in mind that there's plenty of trades on these charts. Look for the mid bands, but box them in. Look for the phantom trades and box them in. And when you get these phantom trades, they can turn into some great trades. Not a phantom, see, it's green. Phantom, look at that trade. Absolutely. Look for those type of trades. Too many people are going long, and I still do it myself too. If it comes down to support and bounces for 20 ticks, I'll take it in a heartbeat. But if it rolls over, you're pretty much looking for the phantom type trade. This one wasn't because it was green. You still got a trade, and then's when it broke. This one I actually got in down in here, and when it took this out, it took my runner out, and I actually went short after the room closed. And it turned out to be a pretty good trade. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you in the morning. Good night. Kenneth, you asked a question though. Is there one of them is equivalent to a fixed number of ticks? 7 ticks. I'm not following you on that, Kenneth. Ask me that in the morning, and I'll go over that with you in the room. Okay, good night, everyone.